but somehow we survived. Beehive Bill was shouting, they're barely alive. Now we're back again, same story, different track. If you don't get net coated, you'll get punted from the back. It's season 2, we're still wrecking in style. Trading paint, trading insults all the while. From the green flag drop to the checkered stripe, it's bumper cars online, and it feels just right. One guy's on a controller swerving side to side. Another's got 3 monitors acting like he's F1's pride. Matt Malone is laughing, spectating the scene, while we argue in the Discord, keep it mostly clean. It's season 2, we're still wrecking in style. Trading paint, trading insults all the while. We ain't pro drivers, but we've got the heart. Just don't brake check in turn 1, or your race won't start. Beehive Bill's got the mic, calling every spin. He's trying to stay serious, but he can't hold it in. Car upside down, oh wait, he landed fine. Somebody clip that, we'll watch it one more time. It's season 2, the legend's alive. Patreon chaos, yeah, we're born to drive. From Daytona nights to Watkins Glen walls, we're the kings of the league. At least until the next fall. And there you have it, folks. Season 2, same drivers, same chaos, maybe a little more beer. See you in turn 1.
We are green! And look at another stupid thing that they've decided to do is put subtitles on the screen. As we go towards turn number 1, there's Slugger! Around! At turn 1! Defending champion has caused a huge pile-up! He's towed! Slugger has caused a massive pile-up at turn 1! I don't know what's going on, and I cannot get the cameras. There we go. A huge accident at turn 1 has put a lot of cars down and out. What a crazy start to this one. We head up towards the hairpin as a wobbling as they try to sort themselves out. Sean Sims still leads the way ahead of Richard Dempsey. Matt Malone is now in 3rd ahead of the Hernster, and Dubs has taken 5th right now, and Dubs is around. And he's going to try and find his way back on, but the cars just keep streaming through. He finds a gap and he gets back on. Matty Quill has fallen to 10th place here, as another car around in the background. It could be an opportunity for Richard Dempsey to take the lead up towards turn number 1. He looked towards it, backed out of it. He stays behind into turn 1, and that was Matt Malone off into the gravel. at turn 1. Matt Malone's off into the gravel. He returns, but he has fallen down the order. Fighting there with Meckham, trying to find a way back in to the field. He comes back on in 8th position. He's got Turbo Snail just behind him. Because I'm looking at the gap and it doesn't quite make sense. Yes, it is. That's the number 78 of Mintu the White Husky, trying to get out of the way here. Doesn't want to get involved in fights, obviously, inside the top 10. He is a lap down here. Slugger is officially confirmed out of this race. The 3rd position, was it the 2nd position? Is around! Goes Pawski! He gets it off the track and out of the way. He's going to wait until it is clear before he makes the move to get back on track. There he goes. But both of them down and out of the top 10 right now. Luke Sudds looks to the inside of Auburn Kyle. Can't do it. Has to stick in behind for now. A slide from Matt Malone, but some good speed. Ducks up the inside. Matty Grill knows when to follow through, and he follows up to the inside there. And for Auburn Kyle, through the penultimate turn, around he goes. Almost collected, but not. Is he going to get it? Oh my word, that's extremely close. But no, he gets out of the way. Other drivers do a great job at avoiding. Right, let's have a look. Oh no, it looks like they are both getting past a back marker there, and then there's the swapping for position. That's Luke Sudds past. Who is he past, actually? Because I'm sure I saw him falling, but no, it looks like he gained past Turbo Snail, actually. Race. Matt Malone has made a mistake, and he's gone deep again. This time at the hairpin. He gets it back on. Only the 1 position loss, but he does have Meckham not too close, not too far behind. Recover anything in this one. Luke Sudds just behind Meckham here. Looks to the inside of turn number 1. Luke Sudds makes the move past Meckham, gets that position, has been able to get just minusculely closer to Big Al here. This still is an opportunity in this fight to try and make his way into the top 5. In fact, this top 5 fight is the closest one. Driver off in the background is Matt Malone. Yet again, as around the out-checkers, he makes the move. Pike out, checkers up to top 10. Able to 2 very different racing lines. A wobble there from Turbo Snail. Matt Malone gets to the right-hand side, and he heads past with a nice amount of speed, but they are going to be level onto the brakes. Who is going to brake heavier? Who is going to brake later? Lock up ahead. Matt Malone gets it slowed down in time to make the title line work. Matt Malone back inside the top 10 and will try to close that second down on to Meckham ahead. After taking his first pole position of the league, will take his machine to the top step of the podium. Sean Sims wins at Hockeyama for round 3. Richard Dempsey takes 2nd position. Can Matty Grill get Big Al through the final turn? He's not going to be able to do it. And he moves to the right-hand side. It's just not enough. 0.2 of a second between them. Hello everybody and welcome to the Matt Malone Patreon League here at Spa-Francorchamps for round number 4 of the Matt Malone Patreon League. It has been a little bit since we've been down on track because we weren't racing last week. The last time we went out onto track was at Okayama in the LMP3s a couple of weeks ago. I apologise for any issues that we were having at the start of that stream during the highlight video and a slightly lengthened delay until we went onto our live pictures. There was just, as usual, some back-end issues that we needed to sort out. But we are here then for the 4th time of asking. The championship standings now sorted by just one race result. That is because we have 2 drop rounds in this series with 3 races completed, 2 of those thrown away. Only 1 race counts so far, and that 1 race places Richard Dempsey, Matty Gwill and Sean Sims at the top of the championship standings with 1 win apiece. They are each on 25 points. Slugger sits in 4th with 21 points. However, he has only had 1 good result so far this season, and that was at round number 1. It was a DNF that gave him some points at Lime Rock with an engine blowout, and then last time out in the LMP3s he went around at turn number 1 and retired from the race straight away. Luke Suds there inside the top 5, one of the new drivers this season. He has 18 points, tied with the Hernster. Tom Laity is in 7th ahead of the man, the myth, the legend, Matt Malone in 8th, and Auburn Kyle, all 3 of those drivers with 17 points apiece. And Checkers is the driver rounding out the top 10. He sits with 16 points so far to his name. Of course, this, as I say, is just including 1 official race result. 2 races drop. The championship standings are going to be changing left, right and centre over the next few weeks as these drop weeks become more diverse. Instead of just dropping the worst 2 out of 3, they'll end up dropping a lot less points, of course. So that means that drivers such as Dempsey, Gwill and Sims with 1 win apiece. Well, Dempsey is the only man in the entire league to have finished inside the top 5 in every single race he has competed in. And I'm not just talking about season 2. Since season number 1, Richard Dempsey has placed his car inside the top 5 every single time of asking. Will he be able to replicate that today? Of course, there is more likelihood that Dempsey is going to be able to compete in every round this season. Due to work commitments, he wasn't able to attend all the races in season 1 due to the later race time. The earlier start time here for him means that he's more likely to attend them all. Right now he's without a lap time in the qualifying session going on behind. But before we get too involved in that, what do we have coming up through the rest of the season? Of course, we're here at Spa in the GT4s today. Next week we head out to the first of 2 oval races as we head to Chicagoland Speedways in the ARCA cars. We then go to Brands Hatch for the final round of October, and that is in the Formula V's, our one and only open wheel race this season. It was the Formula 4s last year. Formula V's this year, even slower, heading around the GP loop. It was great fun to watch. We then are heading across to Cadwell Park at the start of November for the Pontiac Solstice, the car that ended the season last year at Daytona. It's the slowest car by far that we're going to be racing this season, and that'll be on November 1st. The last race in November, all the way at the beginning on November 8th, will be at Zolder in the Porsche Cups, which once again return this season to competition. But we then have our one and only 2-week break in the league. It's the first time that has happened, but we do have 2 back-to-back special events in iRacing, meaning that we aren't going to get back out racing until December. That'll be at Pocono in the Cadillacs before we head to Sebring for the 10th and final round of the season in none other than the Mazda MX-5s. That's on December 13th. And that will be when the league comes to a close. But that's a far way off at the moment. We're not even halfway through this league. We're here at Spa then, and let's have a quick, brief look at the track. You know it. Everyone knows that a motorsport fan is not a motorsport fan without knowing the Spa-Francorchamps circuit here in Belgium. Of course, opened over 100 years ago. It used to be over 15 kilometers long before the layout that we currently run was incorporated. It runs now at just 7 kilometers, 19 turns, and we are running the classic pit layout, which means that our start-finish line is not the traditional GP start-finish line after the bus stop chicane. It is in fact after turn number 1 before El Rouge and Radillon. So it will, this just behind us here, this is the going to be the start finish straight for us today. We've got to remember that in qualifying and of course on the final lap of the race when I think that they've crossed the line and they still have 1 turn to go. What cars are getting out there then today? Well, it's a mixture of cars. For the first time this season, we have multiple makes of cars down on track. All of them, of course, though, in the GT4 category. It's going to be interesting to see which cars are the preferred car of choice. We've got the BMW, seeing that just past our screen now. We've got the Porsches. A nice, easy car to drive. I would say one of the cars that you would drive if you want a stable car. That's for sure. The Ford Mustang, a beast of a machine, but is it going to get around the corners here at Spa in the best way possible? It's going to be very dominant along the straights, I would say. The Mercedes AMG, of course, and the Aston Martin Vantage, and finally, Matt Malone's best friend, the McLaren 570S GT4. So 6 different makes of cars heading down on the track today. It's going to be interesting to see which ones are going to find their way to the front. Talking about finding their way to the front, we've got qualifying and we have got a huge number of cars once again heading down to the track. Almost 30 cars filling out the field at the moment as we get the show on the road here, and we'll watch our qualifying session. Let's see if we can find our qualifying grid right now as we get Slugger at the top. That's exactly what he needs. Now, there was a practice session heading around earlier I was aware of, and Slugger was the fastest by far in that practice session. So I do feel like he has got a great advantage here. It'll be good for him, of course. Last time we were in the GT4s in this league was all the way back at Okayama, round number 1 of season number 1. Slugger placed it on pole in that one. He finished second behind Matt Malone. Malone not yet with a lap time on the board. Of course, it is the same length qualifying session as we will see all season long, 25 minutes. However, it is an extremely long lap, of course. 2.5 minutes, almost exactly by Slugger, is the fastest lap time so far. So getting your out lap in, you're not going to really want to go back to pit lane too often here. You're going to just want to keep on putting in lap after lap after lap. Other big names at the front, of course, Matty Grill, Richard Dempsey, they are tied in the lead of the championship right now. And as I say that, Dempsey goes ahead of Slugger here in the qualifying session. He is in the Mercedes and he goes to the top of the 29.862. He slows down to the side. Matty Grill is another name near the top there. He's 4th, tied of course with Dempsey and with Sean Sims. Sims really taking advantage of his love and understanding of the LMP3 last week to take that pole and convert it into a win. It took him over a season to get that inaugural pole and win, and he did it at the same race in a very dominant fashion. Hopefully he'll be able to benefit from that win and find himself inside the top 10 all season long. Only one driver last year won a race without finishing inside the top 10 at the season end, and that was Air Taco, and that is because the one and only race he won was at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the one and only race he attended. So Sean Sims will hopefully pull the streak of, if you are attending more than one race and you win, you will find yourself inside the top 10 at the season end. In fact, the top 5 at the season end. We'll see if that goes Sean Sims' ways. He's going to need a bit of luck, I would say, in that, because this is seeming like a very, very confident grid, very competent grid, and a very quick one as well. 20 drivers with lap times on the board. Of course, it is the top 20 that will score points. In fact, I want to see if our championship standings are working this week. They are. Look at that. They are working this week, which I love to see. In fact, which should mean that we'll be able to see we should be able to see. We should be able to see live championship standings as the race goes on, which is always great. Actually, it means that we can keep on top of it. We can touch on the championship standings before we come off air as well. 5 minutes left in this qualifying session. It is Richard Dempsey, fastest man so far. It is Slugger P2, only 2 tenths between the two of them. It is Dubs in 3rd position right now as we go up towards turn number 1. But it's not turn number 1, of course. It is the final turn on the lap. We are watching Matty Grill. In fact, he's got Richard Dempsey right behind him looking for a tow. This Mercedes certainly looks like it may be one of the faster cars. Slugger in the McLaren, however. Some other drivers out at the moment. We've got Auburn Kyle. He is out on track right now in the 505 machine. Auburn Kyle inside the top 10 in the championship. Has had an okay start to the season. Could have a better continuation, that is for sure, if he wants to find himself back inside the top 5. Currently without a time to his name. But we should see him place in some times before the end of this session. 4.5 minutes left. Should give him enough time for, I would say, 2 laps. Including this one? No, not including this one. He could go for another 2 after this one. Matt Malone moves up to 8th position. A second off of Richard Dempsey. Currently it is the top 7 that are separated by 1 second. It's the whole field currently separated by 9.5 seconds. O'Doyle Rules, the slowest out there at the moment. It looks like he will improve on that time, though, because that seems like a lap time that has been affected with some sort of mistake. Through the bus stop chicane, up towards the GP start-finish line, not the one that we're at today. Up towards our turn 1 final corner. And into the source we go, and we can see what Auburn Kyle can do with this lap time. If he can find himself inside the top 10, that'll be a good start. Good starting position, of course. Not having to worry about the source as turn 1 for these drivers today should help out. That was an inbound lap time for Auburn Kyle. So it's another lap to go to see if he can place a time on the board. We've got Bob's Jelly out there at the moment. He's sitting in 9th. Right now, just behind Matt Malone. If he could find 0.3 of a second, he could find himself inside the top 5 here. 0.4 of a second, he'd find himself on the second row. It is Dubs 12.58 that is currently leading the second row. He's 3rd position right now in qualifying with about 2.5 minutes to go. Drivers that are coming up towards their timing lines will be coming up towards their final laps as well. So drivers without valid lap times will be wanting very much so to be getting in a nice time right now. Talking about putting in nice times, Matty Gwill goes second, 0.6 of a second faster than Slugger. Dempsey also went quicker. That gap now about 0.5 of a second, about half a second between Dempsey and Gwill right now. But Matty Gwill pushes Slugger down. Top 3 in the championship, in this qualifying, were the top 3 at round 1. Not this order, but it'll be interesting to see these 3 fight it out once again. And they are looking quicker than those around them. Richard Dempsey looking very dominant, wanting to continue his run of finishing inside the top 5 in every single race in this series. He's the only driver to do that in all the races that he has competed in. Kieran Tamuri goes into 15th position. That is a good time for him. He does not, he's not had the best start to the season, and he hasn't put in a valid lap in qualifying for quite some time, but he places it into 15th place right now. 24 drivers with lap times. We're still waiting for Auburn Kyle, Powski and Sunrise 3500 to put in lap times. Auburn Kyle's out, but I don't believe Powski or Sunrise are. As Matty Gwill abandons his run, he has decided he cannot go any faster. Slugger, here he comes, up towards the timing line, onto his final lap. He is just behind, I believe that is Auburn Kyle, just ahead of him there. And he's going to be hoping that he doesn't slow him down. Auburn Kyle goes 13th position, 2.2 seconds off the lead, half a second off of 12th, and only just ahead of race winner Sean Sims, who's now drops down to 14th position. Slugger getting the slipstream here is going to help him out along the straight, that is for sure, but how is it going to hinder him going into the chicane? Auburn Kyle slightly off the racing line. Is that going to slow Slugger down and impact his pace here on this lap? Some gravel being kicked up by Kyle. Here comes Slugger up the inside. Auburn Kyle is running his laps. He does not care that he has Slugger behind him, and that is absolutely his right, is to continue running his laps. But it does look like that has had a significant impact on Slugger's run here, which means I do believe he is going to have to just deal with starting in 3rd position here. Bob's Jelly has had a great qualifying. He's 5th ahead of Big Al in 6th position. The Hernster has had a great start to this season. He's once again inside the top 10. He's in 7th position, as has Mr. Anders. He's in 10th right now as well. Some surprising names towards the back. Checkers down in 19th position right now out of the 25 with a lap time. 27 cars going to be heading out around Spa-Francorchamps for today's race. The checkered flag is out. Drivers are finishing their current qualifying laps, of course, which they have about 3 minutes left to do if they are running on lap times. Neil Trotter improves at the very end to go 24th, but he is 9.3 seconds off on Dempsey's time. Through the bus stop chicane, they've still got one more turn to go, of course. Slugger right behind Auburn Kyle here, so either Kyle is going to get pole position here, or Slugger is going to have lost a lot of time on this final lap. Through the final turn, a little bit of a wobble on the back end of Kyle's car. Through the final turn they go, though, both onto the sausage curb on the outside, and they'll run towards the line. Will it be an improvement for either? It looks like for Slugger it is a significant loss on his personal best. It was a slow lap time for Slugger. It won't be an improvement. It was 0.6 off of pace for him. And Auburn Kyle's lap time was invalid. At some point during his lap, he's invalidated his lap, but he has stayed ahead of Slugger, who is still on a valid lap. I know Slugger's not going to care about that. I know that's the type of person that Slugger is, but that is an interesting choice to make. That is for sure, is to hold up your, well, I wouldn't even say a competitor of yours. He's much faster on that qualifying grid, but we are going to have a look at the grid in a moment's time. Qualifying just ticking down to a close. Let's see if we can see anyone else out on track at the moment. We cannot. The track is completely empty. No one out right now. That's a lie. My track map lied to me. Look at that. Shall we try that again? Oh, look, we do have cars out. We have the number 1 machine still out. That's Bob's Jelly around the lap, but it looks like he is coming to a stop anyway. So it is just the number 22 machine of Sunrise placing in a lap. Is it a valid lap? Is the question. It is not. Not a valid lap there for Sunrise. So he will not get a qualifying lap on the board, but he will still start this race, of course. Pawski and Sunrise both without a valid lap at the end of that qualifying session. There is the checkered flag being waved, and all the cars now returning to pit lane, preparing themselves for the 20 minutes of racing action that is about to come your way here for the 4th time of asking this season. For the 15th time overall. This is our 15th Patreon League race. I can't believe that we are already at the point in which we have had 15 races in the Matt Malone Patreon League. That is absolutely unreal. By the end of this season, we're going to have had over 20. And that's just within the first year of competition. 2 seasons, of course. Right, we can get ourselves started looking through the grid for this one. So it is going to be Richard Dempsey, the man on pole position here, ahead of Matty Gwills. Slugger will start from 3rd position ahead of Dubs and Bob's Jelly. Big Owl will start from 6th, followed by the Hernster, Mekar, Matt Malone and Mr. Anders. Tony Jabroni and Casket Man behind, followed by Auburn, Kyle and Sean Sims. Then it's the Immortal Hitman, Kieran Tamuri, Carl Ditch and the Salty Lobster. Checkers, Extra Pickles round out the top 20. It's then Minty the White Husky, Ed Redfish and Skidmark. Neil Trotter in 24th, followed by O'Doyle Rules, Sunrise and Pawski. Sunrise lap time at the very end there did put him ahead of Pawski. So he didn't look like it was a valid lap. However, because he did place in a lap, it looked like it placed him... it looked like it gave him... it gave him the position, which is interesting. Right then, drivers are gridding up and preparing to get themselves away here at Spa-Francorchamps for 20 minutes of racing action. Because it's 20 minutes around a lap that is 2.5 minutes long, it's only going to be about 8 laps. In terms of GT4 racing, 8 laps is not a lot. It is a long track, of course, 7 kilometers. As the drivers are preparing themselves, Richard Dempsey, for the 2nd time this season, places himself on pole position. It is the quickest repeat pole sitter we have seen in the league after just 4 races. Will it be the quickest repeat winner as well? Because that took until round 5 last season, with Matt Malone being the first repeat winner at Road Atlanta in the Porsches. 20 minutes on the clock then. We are prepared to start here at Spa. It's green and we are away. It certainly looked like Slugger may have got a jump start off the line there. I'm keeping an eye on the right hand side, but I think it's very possible Slugger has got a jump start. Slugger is black flagged here at Spa off the line. Richard Dempsey holds on ahead of Matty Quill, but he's defending champion. The start of his season goes from bad to worse. He will need to visit pit lane after the first lap here at Spa. That's not what you want. Side-by-side action there. Mr. Anders moving up to 8th position past Matt Malone. He has got up from 10th on the grid, so a nice start from him. Slugger is already down and out of this race, so is Skidmark. Jacob Klein towards the back as well. Don't know what has happened to Slugger, but he has gone off. We're going to see if we can see what has happened to Slugger up at the chicane. And he's gone around. The day goes from bad to worse for Slugger as he goes around on the opening lap with a black flag. It's Dubs in 3rd. Off the track is the Hernster. He's got Big Al on his left-hand side here. Up towards the back end of the circuit now. Matt Matt Malone going for the alternate line, trying to get past Bob's Jelly, because Malone has fallen down to 9th position on the opening lap here. O'Doyle Walls has got around in the background as well, and the Hernster has got around and off into the grass, into the gravel, sorry. That's Mintu the White Husky in the background as well. But the Hernster has had a great start to the season, but a spin sent him into the wall as well. And down with Slugger. Slugger still needing to visit pit lane. Auburn Kyle up in 4th, but he's got a gaggle of cars behind him up towards the bus stop. And that's Dempsey. Richard Dempsey is around at the bus stop chicane. As they all try to settle themselves down in this fight up towards the final turn. Richard Dempsey finds himself at the back of the field. Up towards the final turn. The man on pole from the lead of the race spins from no pressure. And it puts Matty Quill in the driving seat to take the first repeat race win of the season. But Dubs is going to want to try and change that and go for his first win in the league onto the braking zone after the Camel Straight. It is Matty Quill and the lead. Big gap for these drivers, but Big Al is up to 3rd. As Bob's Jelly is off the track. He's having to let drivers through. Here comes Matt Malone to look up the inside. Battles behind as well. This is contact. Tony Jabroni forced out wide. The Salty Lobster gets through. And this is Kieran Tamuri up the inside, trying to confirm the position as the corner switches over. It's Jabroni on the inside. Tamuri on the outside. There's contact. There's contact. And Tamuri has the position. But no! Jabroni pushes it hard to the inside. Too hard. Off the circuit. He returns. He's got extra pickles behind now. Up towards the chicane. Extra pickles doesn't go for that move right now. And is going to have to wait behind. As this is back towards the race lead. As Matty Quill leading Dubs. The BMW definitely seems to have speed in a straight line. How is that going to help him around this second half of the lap and the beginning of the next lap? Half a second between them. Slugger with that black flag yet to pit. Jacob Klein with a black flag yet to pit. Neither of them have visited pit lane. The Hernster is out of the race as Richard Dempsey moves back into 18th on his recovery drive. What can he do as they continue around right now? Matt Malone looking to do something. We're going to have a look at how the standings are going to look after this race. Matty Quill will be in the lead of this one. It's saying Richard Dempsey is going to be gaining 21 points. That is incorrect, so this obviously is still not working. Oh no, it will work. Richard Dempsey is going to recover. This will become a drop week, and Richard Dempsey will recover his second place result. So this will become a drop week. Auburn Kyle's back inside the top 5 with that. 4th place is missing because they're not here today. I'm not sure who that will be, but 5th will be Sean Sims. Up towards the end of the Camel Straight, a big crash! A huge crash in the background! More cars involved! Richard Dempsey avoids it somehow! What has happened here? Up at the start of the Camel Straight, a huge accident in the background. This is Casket Man. He was involved in it. Did he get collected? Or was he one of those involved? It's a spin ahead! It's a spin ahead! And a massive collection there with the number 7 of Tony Jabroni, a huge hit. What an avoidance from Richard Dempsey. We are going to have to ride on board with him and run that one back, because my word, I don't know how Richard Dempsey avoided this. Up towards the accident going on ahead. You can see the yellows, you can see the smoke. Just finds the gap, and Richard Dempsey moves into 13th position right now. So he is getting some points on the board. Matt Malone up to 5th at the moment in this race. Believe one of his best results. Whoever it was that was in 4th, Auburn Kyle has moved up to 4th and will actually knock him down to 5th. We're going to see if we can see the top 10 in this one, because Matt Malone's in 6th with his result right now. Of course, there are some points that might not make sense to you. Richard Dempsey is gaining 21 points because he got 2nd earlier on in the season. That is being reinstated with his result being dropped here today. A number of cars out of this one you can see on the left-hand side. Tamuri moves up the order because Sean Sims is now out. What has happened to Sims? Matt Malone moves into 5th in the championship with Sims going out of this one. Sims was inside the top 20, was getting points. A little bit of contact with the number 5 of both of them into the wall. Sean Sims and the Salty Lobster. Huge crash for both of them. Matty Quill has a 1.2 second lead at the front now. It looks like he is going to take a repeat win at the earliest points in the season in the league history. It's only 2nd season, but it's a stat that we're going to keep track of nonetheless, because we are definitely going to have more of these seasons moving forward, that's for sure, as we keep on looking at some of the other fights that are going on. Matt Malone is right behind Auburn Kyle. If these two drivers swap on track, I believe they will swap in the standings as we come up towards the double left-hander. The 24 of Matt Malone chasing down Auburn Kyle. We're not even halfway through this race. Richard Dempsey gets past Kyle Ditch. Dempsey somehow, he went around on on lap 1 at a bus stop chicane from the lead of the race. Dropped to the back of the field. He has recovered into 10th. Of course, there has been a lot of issues in this one. A lot of drivers out. In fact, if it looks like the Salty Lobster might still be in this one. He is. He's coming out of pit lane. Meckham down pit lane. If Meckham returns to the track, he'll be the only driver finishing this race not in points. If Meckham remains in the pit lane, everyone who finishes this race will be getting points in this race. That is a crazy stat. Slugger will be inside the top 10 right now with his 16th place that he's currently running. It's amazing that today's race for Slugger, a jump start black flag pit lane drive-through, is not a drop race for him. That is how bad this season has begun for Slugger. But if we remember to season 1, he finished the VW Beetle race at Summit Point in 16th place. Those 5 points won him the championship. These 5 points could be the difference between him winning and not winning this championship. Matt Malone still behind Auburn Kyle. He goes to the inside. Matt Malone looks to the inside of Auburn Kyle, decides to back out of that one. Not going to be enough to make that move. This is not just for race position, it is for championship position. If these two drivers swap, they will swap in the standings. They're fighting for 3rd right now. Dempsey will drop 4 points behind Matty Quill with his current result. The only way he can't drop behind Matty Quill is if he beats Matty Quill. And right now, that is not happening. His 21 points are from a 2nd position finish earlier in the season. So even if he finishes second here today, it will still count as a drop race for him because it is the later result. 5 cars out of this one as we're on the 5th lap out of the expected 8. As off the track goes Matt Malone as we go around through the back end of the circuit. A lot of gravel being cut up by Matt Malone. Mr. Anders finds himself in 6th, and that will place him 10th in the championship. Slug has moved up to 15th, which will move him to 8th in the championship. Yes, it is 23 points off of Matty Gwill, but it could have been a lot worse with that black flag off of the line. So I'm sure he is going to be relatively happy with this result at the end of it. A good recovery for him, as is for Richard Dempsey. Kieran Tamuri visited the gravel there. He lost out 11th to Mintu the White Husky. It is nice to see the mix of countries racing out here in the league. If you want to take part in this league, then head over to Matt Malone's Patreon and subscribe over there, and you can find yourself out on track with the rest of his wonderful Patriots. We've only completed, this was the 4th round of 10, so we've still got 6 more rounds to go. Across the GP timing line goes to Murray. Matt Malone now about half a second behind Auburn Kyle. But it is Auburn Kyle moves to the side. He's got a slowdown. Auburn Kyle. A slowdown moves him down to 5th in the championship. Matt Malone though pulls over to the side. He wants a race. Matt Malone wants a race. He gave that position up. Or is it a slowdown for him? That was an early break there. He's still braking. I think Matt Malone may have got a slowdown. It could have been a double slowdown there for Auburn Kyle and Matt Malone. Mr. Anders almost back involved in this one, as is Bob's Jelly behind. But when they swapped, Malone only made it up to 3rd. Now I'm trying to think who is the missing driver here in 4th position in the championship. I'm really trying my hardest to think who that might be, but I cannot, off the top of my head, remember who that might be. We'll have to have a look at the end of the race who that possibly is. In fact, I think I can tell with the click of a button that might pop something up on your screen or break everything. It pops it up on my screen. Oh, it looks like I can't tell. It doesn't give me the driver name annoyingly. As I try to have a look, yeah, he's got 18 points previously. He's not racing today, so I can't. Oh, I can't tell. I really wanted to be able to tell who that is in 4th, but I just don't know. Right, through the chicane we go. Matt Malone behind Auburn Kyle here. The gap 3.5 tenths. I'm keeping an eye on the gap in the lead. It is half a second between Quill and Dubs. It has come down, so it's going to be interesting to know as we've got, what, three laps to go? Have they crossed the line yet? Could be 2 laps to go. As we come across the line, it is 2 laps to go. Half a second between Quill and Dubs. And we'll keep an eye on that. It is 3:10 left. The next closest battle is Minty the White Husky. He's 1.5 seconds behind Carl Ditch. Right, 2 different racing lines over the top of the crest there. Who is going to have more speed? Both in the McLarens. Malone gets to the rear end of Auburn Kyle. Is he going to move to the inside? Yes, he does. He broke earlier last time. He's not this time. Matt Malone goes for the inside. They're side by side. It switches back and Auburn Kyle holds position. Can Malone keep the speed going through the next corner? 2 different lines. Auburn Kyle gets a lot of curbing, but he keeps the speed and he keeps 4th position ahead of Matt Malone right now, with only 1.5 laps left to go, as the lead gap is down to just 0.2 of a second. This is Dubs behind Matty Gwill, but we're into the Merc territory here. around the lap. The BMW is not as fast through this section, but can Dubs make it as fast? Getting more curbing through the right-hander. Wipers going on Dubs' car. Look how close he is. It is almost as much as all I could put a piece of paper between them. Both onto the gravel, but Dubs just losing out a bit more there as they head up towards the end of the lap. Right now, Dubs half a second behind. The same gap between Auburn, Kyle and Matt Malone. We're going to keep on watching this right now. A win could put Dubs inside the top 10 in the standings, depending on the points that he's already got previously and what he'll be dropping. He pushes it wide though. That could be a slowdown. 0.6 of a second. That's Big Al in the distance. He's all but confirmed the final podium position. You can see Matt Malone behind Auburn Kyle. Through the final turn, the leaders go. This is going to be the white flag lap. We head across the timing line to go on to the final lap of the race here at Spa-Francorchamps. It is 7/10 between Quill and Dubs. That was an extremely quick El Rouge and Radion for Dubs. He closed down about 0.2 of a second, but he's had to give it up. It looks like it is a slowdown for Dubs. Very possibly he broke earlier. It is, you can hear he is not accelerating. It is a slowdown for Dubs. And he will not be able to fight Matty Grill for the win here. But can Malone fight Auburn Kyle for 4th position? It'll swap them around in the championship, and whoever that is that's not here today will move up to 3rd. Right now, Matt Malone goes onto the gravel. He's going to throw it away as well. As Ed Redfish and Carl Ditch side by side into the chicane. But Carl Ditch moves up to 12th. Ed Redfish down to 13th. Richard Dempsey has done a great job this race in his recovery drive, but he is going to be kicking himself. He knows he could have won this one. He knows this race was his. And for the first time in league history, Richard Dempsey will not finish inside the top 5. His statistic is gone. However, he is now the only driver to have finished inside the top 10. It's a new statistic for Richard Dempsey, but a shame for him. Through the final chicane comes your race leader. He started on 2nd position. He didn't need to overtake Richard Dempsey because Dempsey was facing the wrong way. And he has led every lap of the race. Here comes Matty Grill up towards the line to win round 4 and become a repeat winner in season 2. Earlier than we saw in season 1 from Matt Malone. Big Al rounds out the podium, and Mr. Anders is incredibly happy with his 6th position, as he should be. Dempsey across the line in 8th. And Sunrise from 25th on the grid will come home to finish 9th place across the line. And Mintu the White Husky rounds out the top 10. Slugger started 3rd, had a jump start black flag, had to visit pit lane, but he has recovered into the points and will take those points with him today, and it will solidify his 8th place in the championship with a 15th place finish. This is Sean Sims, a race to forget for him. He ended in the wall earlier on after contact with the Salty Lobster. And he comes up to the final turn with skid mark ahead. And they will come to finish here at Spa. With 5 cars meeting their 6 cars, Meckham out as well, meeting their end early from this one. As our last drivers come to the line. What a race it has been here at Spa for the 4th round of competition. Let's have a look at the race results following that one. Matty Gwill wins for the 2nd time this season ahead of Dubs. Big Al rounds out the podium. Auburn Kyle finishes in 4th ahead of Matt Malone, and it's Mr. Anders in 6th. Bob's Jelly finished in 7th, and Richard Dempsey recovered to that 8th place. Sunrise finished in 9th ahead of Mintu the White Husky. Kieran Tamuri finished in 11th ahead of Carl Ditch and Ed Redfish. Neil Trotter finished in 14th, and defending champion Slugger finished in 15th. Jacob Klein, Skidmark, Sean Sims, Tony Gibboni and the Salty Lobster rounded out the points finishers. Out of this race was Meckham, Extra Pickles, Casket Man, Immortal Hitman, O'Doyle Rules and the Hernster. The championship standings then, after 4 rounds of asking, 2 rounds dropped, puts Matty Gwill at the top of the championship with 50 points ahead of Richard Dempsey. Auburn Kyle is in 3rd with 34 points and Matt Malone in 5th, just 1 point behind. Sean Sims is in 6th ahead of Checkers, tied on points with Meckham and Slugger. And Mr. Anders sits at the bottom of the top 10. We then see Bob's Jelly in 13th with 23 points ahead of Dubs. The Hernster is in 16 points, tied with Big Al. Powski in 18th place here, and Minty the White Husky rounds out the top 20. It's Sunrise in 22nd place with 15 points ahead of Jacob Klein and Extra Pickles in 24th and 25th. Kieran Tamuri is in 26th with 11 points and Kyle Ditch with 10 points. Ed Redfish and Tony Gibboni tied on points with 9 apiece. It's Skidmark in 33rd with 6 points. The Salty Lobster with 3 in 38th. And Neil Trotter with 1 point in 40th. Casket Man, Immortal Hitman and O'Doyle Rules all still hunting for their first points of the season. And you can see just how big this grid is. Even though we can't quite see all of them, unfortunately, we can see just how many are taking part in this one. Next time out then, we are going to be heading all the way across to America. For our first oval race of the season, we're at Chicagoland in the Arcas on October 18th. Don't miss it. It's going to be a fantastic race. That'll be next Saturday. So until then, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
acting like he's F1's pride. Matt Malone is laughing, spectating the scene, while we argue in the Discord, keep it mostly clean. It's season 2, we're still wrecking in style, trading paint, trading insults all the while. We ain't pro drivers, but we've got the heart. Just don't break, check in turn 1, or your race won't start. Beehive Bill's got the mic, calling every spin. He's trying to stay serious, but he can't hold it in. Car upside down, oh wait, he landed fine. Somebody clip that, we'll watch it one more time. It's